Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list update videos. Today's date is Monday, February 21st, 2022. So this will have covered the week of February 14th through the 20th of 2022. So, not a whole lot of progress made this week. This was a really pretty busy week for me and a little bit struggling in the mental department. It's just a lot of other stuff going on. I'm not really going to go too much into that, though. You could probably tell from the live stream on what was it, Friday. Wasn't quite in the normal headspace by the end of it. But by the end of it, I think it was more because it's the first time I've been drunk on bourbon in like 3 months. And now I remember why I don't get drunk on bourbon, because it doesn't end well. Yeah, so that was my fault on that one. But anyways, I made progress on 2 games. So first and foremost, Far Cry 6 is now 100% complete, hopefully forever. Hopefully I am done with this and never have to go back to it again, at least on PS4. I mean, I will eventually do the PS5 version. I think maybe 1 or 2 things auto-pop, but not much of it, unfortunately. Now, to be fair, I didn't mind Far Cry 6 overall as a game, but that's purely because it's a franchise that I really enjoy. So I tend to like the games better than probably some people do, and I've also, 100%ed and platinumed every Far Cry game in the franchise now, with the exception of the PS5 version of Far Cry 6. So I plan to keep that series going. It's like with the Fallout series, that's the other one that I've finished everything in, and Infamous, actually. I've done everything in Infamous and Just Cause. Got close at a few others, but have tended to miss out usually by like one game. Uncharted 3, couldn't get that 100% quite done. Couldn't quite get that Killzone 3 multiplayer done, unfortunately. But that's just, it is what it is. So, for Far Cry 6, we can actually talk about the entirety of the game now that we are at 100% completion, probably forever. I don't think, knock on wood, this is a wooden table, so trophy hunting gods, please be nice here to me, but I'm going to say that this is going to be the final DLC, or that was the final DLC. But, with my luck and my track record, probably within the next 3 days, we'll get a New Game Plus DLC on a new highest difficulty, so that also wouldn't surprise me because I'm used to it at this point. So, as for the Platinum Trophy portion of it, it's fairly easy, like most Far Cry games are. It's like, a 2 to 3 out of, like a 2.5 to 3 out of 10 for the Platinum. A couple of the DLCs are tougher, but we'll get to those in a minute. So this actually right here is the game's secret ending. I'm glad they finally threw in a trophy for the secret ending. I'm glad they did that. Then you have a bunch of other story-related trophies. Nothing too difficult there, just complete the story. This one is fairly long of a game, but I think it's easier overall than Far Cry 5 because there's none of that stupid fishing championship stuff you had to do. And I don't know. I just felt like the game was a little bit easier than 5. Maybe it's some of the weapons and stuff. I'm not entirely sure. You have to capture an FND base without being detected. That's fairly easy. There's plenty of them you can do it at. And with the insurgency challenges every week, it's not that difficult. An FND base with a co-op partner is the only true multiplayer trophy in this game. It's the only one that's going to require another player. So do keep that one in mind, but it's at least, very, very easy. You have to capture all the FND bases. There's like 20-something of them. You have to return 3 FND resource vehicles in mint condition. That is fairly easy. Let's see, capture 10 checkpoints is very easy. Those are like basically mini outposts, or in this case, mini FND bases. They sort of return from Far Cry 2. Blow up 16 anti-aircraft cannons. There's more than 16, but those clear out the sky so that you can actually fly over places. You have to intercept 10 supply drops. There's like 20 of those. The Triad of Blessings is a series of side quests that gets you the last weapon and the last Supremo and an Amigo. Win a cockfighting match and is very easy. 3 Grand Premios, there's 12 of them. 1 game of dominoes, just win it on the easiest difficulty. Complete any one special operation, that's easy. 5 Bandito operations just takes a little bit of time. Vehicle machete kill from a horse is easy. The 49 unique weapons, some of them are in a little bit tougher to reach places, but if you just follow a guide, it's not that bad. Fully upgrade a camp facility is pretty easy. You just need resources. The Supremos, most of them you buy, and you have to find that last one from those side quests. Purchase 15 meals is easy as long as you have some meat to trade for it. The USB sticks, cryptogramma chests, rides, and roosters are all collectible types, as are the Amigos. They're all very easy if you just follow a guide. I didn't remember having much trouble with any of those. Pet Guapo, everyone does that, so just make sure you pet the adorable little crocodile right at the beginning of the game, so you get a free, easy bronze trophy. You have to give Shikaron the Mother Clucker outfit, which I think you actually get normally when you get him. I can't remember. You have to distract 10 soldiers with the cutest, deadliest little disabled pupper of all time. Very easy. 10 soldiers with active heat. This one's unmissable. Shark with an explosion. I got this when there was a shark randomly in a pool somewhere. I don't know why, but it happened. Catch a total of 10 fish, much easier than the one in Far Cry 5. Sabotage an alarm. That one's easy, but you have to wear certain gear for it. The insurgent leaders, you can't do this until after you have beaten the story, so that takes time to get to. But once you've beaten the story, you can actually kind of cheese this one. Instead of doing it over 3 separate weeks, you can just you can kill the insurgent leader and then die or restart the checkpoint and repeat it over and over again. It'll usually take about 5. That's how long it took me when I did it, so it might take a few extra tries, but it's much better than waiting week after week unless you're working on other stuff at the same time. Which now that there's DLC, it's not as bad because there's a lot more to work on. This one's unmissable. This one's easy. This one is fairly easy. There's only like 5 of them. This one's easy. There's a couple places you can do it. This one's easy. This one is actually a bit missable. Now, it's not fully missable just because with this one you can do the insurgency challenges, and the insurgency challenges reset a bunch of the FND bases each week. So eventually you'll get one that you can do this on, but just you might want to follow a guide and try to do it on your first playthrough so you don't have to worry about cleaning it up later. This one's easy. This one's a little bit time consuming, but it's still fairly easy. Just use poison weapons for a while and you'll get it. This one's pretty easy. Actually, I think it's unmissable. This one's pretty easy. Just take some materials. This one's easy. Just, again, take some materials. This one's easy. You just have to find them over the course of the game. This one is unmissable, I believe, by the time you finish the story and do everything else in the game. Then you have 3 special operations trophies. This one is a little bit tricky. You're going to have to do it on the easiest difficulty, and you're going to want to pick certain maps. I want to say you want to do it on either Los Santos, the one that's the casino, the one that's the concert, or the very first one. It's possible to do one if you have the right special ops gear set up. This one's pretty easy. You can do it on the first tier difficulty of the very first operation. And then finally, this one, the 30 hostages. This isn't really hard, but it takes a while because you can only free 3 per run, so it takes a minimum of 10 runs, which of course just adds on more time. And of course, I have given my thoughts on the special operations mode in this game a number of times, and I still think it's terrible. I still think it's horribly unbalanced. I don't find it to be fun, but I find it to be a lot more doable now than I did when the game came out, because there are strategies for it now that make it a lot more doable on those higher difficulties. So Salt of the Earth and Party Crasher require you to get through every special operation, well, not everyone, but the first 5 special operations on Mastery Level 3 difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty. It's annoying. Again, it is extremely annoying because the mode is just not built for that, because the battery overheats in like 5 seconds out in the heat. All the enemies have flamethrowers, and the water sources are seemingly lessened, but that might not be true. But if you have the right setup, you need to have very specific mods on specific weapons. You use the Supremo that gives you faster movement speed and basically invincibility. You use that to run the battery back to the starting point. And then you switch to the Triador Supremo with the weapon. It's that very specific, circular magazine, cylindrical magazine rifle. It sort of looks like a giant revolver. You use that one because you can shoot through walls with it if you use the Supremo. That's the best way to do it. These 3 are harder than the other 2 from what I remember. Mesozoico is definitely tough purely because of that final defensive portion. Cocodrillo, this one I think was a little bit easier from what I remember. Aguamala, this one was pretty annoying too, just because there's not a lot of water sources, and that final defense is brutal just because of the way it's laid out, and there's like tanks and stuff. As for this one, Los Santos is probably the easiest one from what I remember, and Puerta del Eden is not that hard either, so these 2 are definitely easier than the first 3. And the 6th DLC, again, knock on wood, the 6th and final Spec Ops mission does not have a DLC trophy, thankfully. Again, that's why I knocked on wood. So then we have the 3 main DLCs, the Become the Villain. For as mediocre as Far Cry 6 was as a game, these DLCs were really, really good, especially in terms of the story and the characters. I'm still not the biggest fan of this design for gameplay, because it's very different. It's not really that fitting of the Far Cry universe because of the... In Far Cry, it's not really meant to be a permadeath survival type game. And again, these aren't really that hard of DLCs. Once you have a couple of upgraded weapons and permanent upgrades, it's not that bad. It just doesn't really fit with Far Cry. But again, the characters and the stories, those were good. Those were some of the best I've seen in the franchise in a while. Probably some of the best since like Far Cry 3 and 4 in general. So the Vaas Insanity DLC is definitely the best, though, because it finally lets us see Vaas in a completely different light, and it's really, really intriguing. And the secret ending is just like mind-blowingly surprising. Like, I don't think anyone was expecting that one, but it was solid. It was a great time. But all 3 DLCs are effectively the same with their trophies. You have to escape the mind of the character, which is for winning it. You have to escape with a score of at least 25,000, which is going to be unmissable on Mind Level 5. Carry at least 8,000 of whatever the currency is at once. You can get this while playing on Mind Level 5. Discover every location in each character's mind, easy with like a map or a guide. Unlock all the weapons. Again, that's a thing that you find around the map. They're armory challenges. The diary pages, I think there's 7 in each DLC. There's 10 chibis in each DLC, and they're absurdly hard to find, actually. I don't know how people found them. I guess it's because they talk a little bit, so that's how you know you're in kind of the right area. Then you have to see all the visions. There's different number of these in each character. Like, I think that Joseph Seed only had like 8, whereas these two each had like 15 plus. And then you have to escape each character's mind at Mind Level 5. It is a little tricky, but I'm not sure I even ever died on Mind Level 5 because I had good gear for it and stuff, so it's not that hard. With just a little bit of practice and a few passive upgrades, you're going to be good to go. This is the one trophy that's different for every character. For the Vaas DLC, you have to fully upgrade all the weapons cases. For the Pagan DLC, you have to fully upgrade your power slots and have a power in each of them. And for the Joseph Seed DLC, you have to unlock all of the traits in the mirror, which are the passive upgrades. So I think Joseph Seeds takes the longest because I think that's the most money you have to spend on upgrades out of any of the characters. The Pagan Min DLC is the shortest because you only have to buy those slots, and that's way, way cheaper than the other two. Because, like, Vaas's is, over 20,000 coins easily. Pagan Min's is around 10,000. Joseph's is probably like over 30,000, so it definitely is the most, even though I think you do get a little bit more money in this one, or penance as it's called. But yeah, the Joseph Seed Collapse DLC, the first 2 were great. This one was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. And I gotta say, it has completely screwed up the Far Cry timeline again. Like, now, I legitimately think that New Dawn is the actual sequel, and Far Cry 6 is non-canon. And you'd know why if you play through this and see all the visions, because there's one vision that very, very specifically shows something that happens in Far Cry New Dawn. And when you think about it, Far Cry 6 doesn't have that much of a connection with the rest of the timeline if you really look at it, because in Far Cry 6, you don't see Herc, you don't see Huntley, you don't see any of those characters. The place that they're at is very clearly Cuba, but Cuba is specifically mentioned. So it's got to be in like an alternate dimension, because in it the world's fine, just dealing with the pandemic. That's all from the secret ending. So I really think that they've either made 2 diverging timelines, which would be smart, actually, if they did that, because then they can take the franchise in either direction going forward. So if they don't feel like a sequel to New Dawn would do well, they can find a way to call that non-canon. Or if they didn't think that 6 did well enough, they can make another New Dawn type game in the post-apocalyptic world and be able to call that canon, technically. I don't know, it's kind of screwing with my head a little bit, and I don't feel like thinking about it right now. Maybe that'd be an interesting video someday. I don't know if I could do a very good job with it, though. Otherwise, I almost platinum Ghost of Tsushima on stream, but I was just too tired and too inebriated by the end of it to finish the last trophy because I couldn't understand one of the guides. But the trophies I earned, I got the last 2 story-related trophies. I was correct on how the end of the game works. It didn't surprise me that much. I kind of saw it coming that way, but it did end up happening, and it was very sad, very emotional, but just what a wonderful game. I love this game. This is one of the best games I've played in years, probably since like God of War 2018. Let's see, I finished all of the remaining Tales of Tsushima, which I will say, this one did actually annoy me a little bit because the game doesn't do the best job of showing where exactly all of them are. Like, some of them are a little bit tough to find, so I had to go sorting through guides to figure out where the last 2 were. So that one was a little bit annoying because of that, because they just take a while to find. But doing them actually isn't that difficult, because you can do everything on the easiest difficulty. Let's see, I completed all the duels, which some of them are story and side mission related. Reached the maximum rank, so you're going to get that naturally while getting all the other trophies. Let's see, I rekindled all the lighthouses, there's 10 of those. I did all of the Shinto shrines, there's like 19 of those. Only one I'm missing is the hidden shrines because I couldn't find the last few, but I will knock that out probably after this video goes up. I will have it done, hopefully. Dress up as a legendary thief, that's the Sly Cooper Easter egg. It requires very specific, kind of tougher to find items. This is a location-specific trophy. It's pretty easy, but you do have to find, I think, 4 or 5 of the singing crickets to be able to do it. The 20 records, there's like 40 total. That's fairly easy. Finish all the hot springs, haikus, Inari shrines, and bamboo strikes. There's quite a few total, but they're not overly difficult, especially if you like follow a guide as to where they are. And then I liberated the rest of the island, which was the remaining, con encampments and stuff. So that is basically done. I'll have that done easily this week, and I probably won't work too much on the rest of this week, though, because Horizon Zero Dawn came out, or Horizon Forbidden West came out. Of course, my copy didn't get here until Sunday because the Postal Service hates me for some reason. Maybe it's because I insult them all the time in videos and streams, but then again, they did lose my passport once, and that's completely unacceptable. That's a story from 2019, by the way. So, let me go ahead and sync up the trophies. So, level 765, 72%, 22,544 total trophies, 586 platinums, 3,622 golds, 6,038 silvers, 12,298 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week. Obviously, I will platinum Ghost of Tsushima this week, and maybe I start on the DLC if I have a little bit of time, but my main priorities this week are to get started on Horizon Forbidden West and maybe go back to COD Vanguard. Those are my really only 2 priorities for the rest of February. And then in March, maybe we go back and work more on Ghost of Tsushima and, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City if we get to that in March, which we're supposed to. The Division, yeah, I'm sick of mentioning that, honestly. Battlefield 1943, again, I'll do it someday because I bought the game and because I'd like to do it and have another Battlefield game done. By, April, maybe GTA 5, May, maybe Black Ops 3, June, maybe The Division 2, but a lot of this is kind of up in the air at the moment. Plus, I gotta start working on that 600th platinum, but I probably won't start working on it for another week or 2 because I probably won't get too many platinums in the next week or so because I'll be hopefully busy with Horizon. So guys, that is going to be it for this video. Please like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you haven't already. I've given you my plans for gaming. As for videos and stuff, the schedule should be pretty normal this week. I'm sure there will be a stream this weekend, either Friday or Saturday, probably Friday. So that is going to be it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you back here for the next video.